and suddenly the vision leapt into clearness. There he stood, the chest crushed in and drowned in the red stain, from which broken ribs like the bones of a wrecked ship protruded. Exactly as he spoke, there swept through the warm-lit room a current of ice-cold air,
Jesus.
ruffling my hair as it passed me and making the wood flames on the hearth dwindle. He put out his hand, as if entreating me to do something, and with a cowardice for which I cannot forgive myself, I shrank from him, for I knew, by the sign that I have told you, that this was one from the dead, and my flesh quaked before him, drowning for the moment all pity and all desire to help him, if that was possible.
Welcome to episode 109 of Ghost Huns Christmas Special. Ha!
Wait,
Oh, fuck.
go on, really rank it up.
Mine's not doing anything.
Welcome to our Christmas special. 109.
Shut up now.
With
oh,
what? No, you're
fuck.
twisting it the wrong way.
Jesus. Enough's enough.
No, it's not. So welcome to our Christmas special.
With
Are
me,
you-
Hannah Bitchkovsky.
And Susie Brace.
We have to start doing that because they don't know.
No one knows.
No one knows.
Merry Christmas, everybody. Hope you're
Hi,
having
Merry
a good
Christmas.
one. Happy festive seasoning greetings.
This is prior to... I'm so sorry, I can't hear myself talk at all. Could somebody come and help me?
No one's coming to help
It's
you,
very
Hannah.
unnerving.
No one's coming.
And we're back in. It's Christmas up in here.
Oh my God. Are you
Look at
enjoying?
our balls on our heads.
I know. Do you like our garb?
I think we look a bit like those people in Whoville.
Who's that?
You know, the Grinch.
Oh, right. Do you know what? The Grinch sort of passed me by.
Oh, I love. It's one of my favourite Christmas films.
Really?
That, The Muppets Christmas Carol, and
Nightmare Before Christmas.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Stunning. I'm
Yeah.
obsessed with that.
Yeah, I know. Well,
So
we've got Christmas crackers, mince
shall we just do it
pies.
all now? Shall we do all the Christmas stuff immediately?
Well, we're
In
going
a
to get
moment of
Tim in at the
chaos.
end to do presents. So we'll do that
but
at the
I
end
would
of the
like,
epi.
yeah, but my present you're going to have now.
Oh.
So sorry.
Do I get a present now?
Well, yes, yeah, there you go.
Wow, the wrapping's stunning. It's in a butcher bag. It's in a butcher plastic bag. It says free cider on it.
Yeah. That's
Free
Susie's.
cider.
Susie told me this morning that we were doing presents.
Christmas to me.
Didn't
Oh
have chance
my
to go
fucking
anywhere.
God. Are you
Half a bottle of Archers, which
Archers?
we are going to have now.
That's been... Do you know what? I got very drunk on this.
Yeah, we're
going to
have some. That's why you have to half a bottle of Archers from the kitchen side.
Right.
Some plantain crisps.
Some Thank you so much.
It's nice,
What's
isn't
this?
it?
Some batteries. Are you mental? What are those for?
I had a quick run around the flat and.
Oh,
see what I could
and
get.
some. Is it dog shit bags?
Yeah, but you've got you partly own a dog.
I'm actually quite offended. I'm actually.
No, I'd like,
fuming.
before people come for me, Susie told me we were doing it this morning before I came to the studio. She will be getting a proper present,
disgusting.
but not today.
Well,
So I thought we could have a little Archers.
do you know what? I actually fucking hate that
No,
stuff.
come on, we have to.
I drank a lot of that when I was a teenager.
Me too, we have to. One sip.
I'll have a sip.
Yeah, a sip. That's why I've got the glass.
Why have you
I've
got
made to do it.
Archers, you fucking lunatic?
I did an advert for them.
Oh, that's
And they
sick
sent
in the
me
head.
Archers, yeah.
Archers is the worst.
Quite Christmassy.
It's Christmassy, I guess. Although Bailey's is probably more Christmassy in
I
it.
didn't really want to do that there.
Yeah. Why is it so bright in here?
Well, have a shot.
All right.
Shot it. Come on. Oh, it stinks.
That's it. What
Yeah.
flavour is it?
Oh, peach snap.
Oh, fucking hell, man.
Ready? Cheers.
Cheers to all and good health to everyone, apart from your enemies.
Oh, that's fun.
Oh, that's disgusting.
Oh, should we have another?
Actually, that's quite nice. Actually, I don't mind
It's
it.
not that bad. It's very sweet,
Very
isn't it?
sweet, isn't it?
Very sweet.
Ah!
Oh, it's really going to fuck up our palate for when we go for wines
God.
later.
Okay.
Did
Merry
you like your
Christmas.
presents? Are you going to have a plantain crisp?
No.
We've had them for about 3 years, to be fair.
Are you? So everyone listening, get a mulled wine. Get fucking...
Or an Archer's.
Or an Archer's and, like, settle in. This is going to be Christmas Speshy. Like, proper, like... It's going to get cosy, isn't it?
Yeah. I have some talking points.
Oh, well. Go for it.
I had a sex dream about Denise Walsh.
Which one's Denise Walsh again? Is she the mum of Matt?
She's the loose woman, yeah.
The one who's got a son in a band?
I actually had a sex dream about her.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, really, really, really bizarre. You know, not all my family listen to this episode, but I really do hope today is the day my nan chooses to tune in.
What happened?
Well, actually, I just watched her have sex, which felt weird.
Hannah.
She forced me into it. She was like, come in here, and I was like, I don't want to. She was making me very uncomfortable. I was on loose women. She was like, come in this cupboard. I was like, I really don't want to.
God.
Sounds a bit weird.
Sounds a bit Greg
And
Wallace.
so I went in, and then she made me watch her. She had sex with Giles Brandreth from this morning.
Oh, so you weren't involved in the sex
No, I just
dream?
had to watch like a cook.
You were turned on?
No.
You were?
No.
Really?
No. It's Denise Walsh.
Well, don't say it like that. That's your brain who's conjured that up.
No, she's a lovely woman, but like, you know, she's quite a bit older than me. And women aren't really my vibe.
Yeah, well, no.
Giles Brandreth is probably more my vibe, actually. I do like an older man.
Yeah, and he's quite funny, isn't he?
He's quite funny,
He's
yeah.
funny and
Have
charming.
you seen that thing that's going around where he spits out coke on Vanessa Feltz and she's absolutely disgusted?
No.
She's like, eh.
Oh, God, no.
Because they were doing the Diet Coke and pickle thing.
It's hit me.
What, the Archer? Honestly, I feel a bit pissed.
My head's spinning.
Why am I... I mean, that'll be the rohypnol.
Oh,
Put it in.
she's murdered me.
That'll be the roofies.
Christmas poisoning.
I'm going to give you some rohypnol. Let Denise Welsh in.
Rohypnol.
She'll do it.
Rohypnol.
Another
Shit.
talking point. Shout out to the cleaner in Adam's building who she hypes me up every fucking day. I walk past her, she's like, you look fucking stunning. I'm like,
my
you
God.
too. She's amazing. Big shout out to her.
I love that.
She's such a hype woman. I love her.
God, stunning.
A woman just shoved a Greg's pasty in my chest.
What do you mean?
She punched me in the chest with a Greg's pasty.
Who?
Well, she was a tourist and she was like, oh my God, I've wanted to have one of these for ages. Have you got a baked bean? And then like walked into me and I was like, ugh! And she just like shoved a cheese and bean sausage, I assume, melt pasty in my chest.
Have you got a baked bean and then you got punched?
Have you got baked bean? No, she wasn't talking to me. She was talking to a friend.
How did you get in the crossfire?
Sausage roll. Can you believe?
Oh my God.
Because I was walking, they were walking in front of me and then did a full 360? 190.
180.
190.
Oh.
Did a full 210.
Should have full 3.5.
And then turned around and literally just punched me in the chest and didn't even apologise.
Wow.
I went, rude!
Rude.
Rude. And
Did
they were
she
talking
react?
points. No, not in the slightest. Obviously,
wow.
what a dickhead, yeah. So, to anyone that was at an embankment this morning having a Greg's and punch me in the chest and go, fuck yourselves.
Jesus. Tourists are the worst, aren't they?
They're the worst.
The absolute worst.
And then I've also been annoyed in Boots because I went to try on the perfume and this man wouldn't let me hold the perfume bottle myself.
Oh, God.
He kind of was like, no, I'll hold it. And I was like, I'd like to hold it.
Yeah.
I want to know how that's going to feel in my hand.
Yeah.
And he was just like, no, you can't. And I was like,
You're not allowed.
fine. And then I thought, I think he thinks I'm going to rob it, so I'm going to buy one just to prove him wrong. And now I feel that was the game all along.
Yeah, he thought you were on the rob. He didn't like the cut of your jib.
No, I've been really fucked over. That's one of my favourite phrases.
I don't like the cut of your jib.
I remember watching the Almost Royal with Ed Gamble in
I
it.
don't know.
It was when he was very young and he did Almost Royal. It's very, very, very funny. And he said that and that made me piss myself for about 2 days. Anyway, I think that's all I have to say.
Is it?
Yeah, had a horrible gig in Nottingham
Oh,
the other
yeah.
week.
Why?
Horrible. But then I went back to Nottingham on Wednesday and I had an absolutely stunning time. They just didn't like me at all. They didn't want me. They didn't really want the MC either, to be fair. They didn't want anyone.
Yeah.
But classically, that was the night that Adam and my brother-in-law came along to watch.
Oh, fine.
And then my brother-in-law's done this thing like, no, you did well.
You did
And
good.
in his head, he's now like, oh, fucking poor bitch has
Yeah.
started a
Yeah,
career
yeah,
in something
yeah,
she's
yeah.
absolutely dreadful at.
Oh, I hate it when gigs go
I know,
like
I'm
that.
especially, I wouldn't mind if they weren't there. I'd have been like, do you know what? You're all fucking annoying.
Yeah.
And then I called out a virgin on the front row. It was all a bit much. You know what I mean? And
Oh,
then I went to a gig the other night. I had an absolutely gorgeous time.
Oh.
But this guy on stage, she was lovely off stage, but called a woman a slag in the audience.
You did?
No, he did.
Oh.
And I was like, you can't do that, really.
No, man to woman. You
Man
can't
to
really,
woman is aggressive.
No.
Woman to woman is like
Absolutely a bit of joshing. Bit of
joshing.
Bit of joshing.
camaraderie.
Camaraderie.
Slags together.
Fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, man to woman.
Yes.
It's incel. It's
How was
giving.
you had a bad gig that night, didn't you?
Yeah, I did a bad gig.
Yeah. Did a bad,
Did a
bad
bad
gig.
gig. It was exactly the same set as the 2 gigs before.
Yeah.
Exactly the same. New bit involved. Really, I had fun. The main thing is have a bit of fun.
Yeah.
And but they didn't like it.
No.
And I started with my Stacey bit.
Yeah.
Because I was like, I'm going to add that back in.
Yeah.
It got nothing. And because
That's why you say that you look like Stacey Dooley.
yeah, I say I look like Stacey
Yeah,
Dooley. I
yeah.
did a little impression. And because it got absolutely fuck all, they immediately were like, oh, we don't think she's good and she's real bad. So I couldn't win them over.
Right,
and like
yeah.
I had pockets of people liking me, but the whole room as a whole had
Yeah.
gone, not for us.
Yeah, yeah,
She's
yeah.
clearly not great.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So it all just fell apart. And I
Yes.
still had fun. I was still like,
That's
do you know
all that
what? It's still my
matters.
gig. I don't, whatever.
I don't
but
care, yeah. I don't
It's not a
care, but
loss,
if people are there watching and they're like,
yeah, I know.
no, you did. And then he did the whole like, "Well, you're obviously good because you handle, you carried it off." And I was like, that's not a compliment.
Yeah, it's
is
not.
it?
And you're like, come again.
It's not a compliment.
To a
come,
different gig.
come again, please, when it's not. And
What's
then
the one on Valentine's that you've got me?
I'll tell you after.
Oh, fine. Comedy admin.
Me, you,
Who's here for
yeah,
it?
me, you, Rachel,
Oh.
Emmanuel Sonobi,
Oh, right.
and Adam. Very weird.
Oh, is this what the
It's what
gig is?
Kieran from the Traitors is. He's running bars and he's setting up a comedy night.
Oh, I see.
So anyway, we'll talk about that after.
Okay.
But actually, no. If you want to
Actually?
come, all the details will be up on our Instagram. So go
Oh, I
ahead.
see. I thought you were saying
Yeah,
it to
come.
me. I was like, I
if you
think
want
you asked me to come.
do you want to come? Do you want to do it? No.
Oh,
What
yeah.
else has happened? What else have we got? What are talking points? Have you had any sex dreams about loose women?
No, none.
unfortunate.
I went on my little romantic break
Oh,
tonight.
yes.
Great Yarmouth.
Yeah.
Which was absolutely stunning. Saw some seals on the beach.
And you picked Great Yarmouth for the seals.
for the seals rather than
specifically.
yeah.
Yeah,
We
because
went
I
on-
have heard it's a Le Chateau.
It says Le Chateau.
Le
Yeah.
Chateau.
Do you know what? It was. I've never seen so many arcades in my life. You're just constantly like one arcade after another, and it's really eerie because they're all like playing this like mad music,
and
they're
no
all
one's
lit
in
up.
there.
No one was there. So
How
it was
do
like,
they stay afloat? It's money laundering, isn't it?
I
It's
don't
gotta be.
know. I guess in the summer they're so fucking rammed, and it's like the summer months really keep it alive, and then in December
Really?
it's like
Oh, spooky!
Yeah, but it's
I do
spooky.
like a spooky fun fair.
yeah. I know. I like the vibe of it. And we
yeah.
were like wandering around this arcade, and it was just completely empty. And then
With your pocket full of 2p's.
Yeah, well, I had a £20 note, but we didn't end up spending it because we went straight to. And I was like, money. A woman who worked at the hotel walked into our room in the morning.
What?
She just opened up the door.
Oh, you're noshing.
No.
Hello?
Merry Christmas!
Someone there?
But it was luckily.
Do you know why you sound like Scooby-Doo?
I mean, luckily it was just a nice spoon. But fuck,
Oh
I was
my
like,
God, were you naked?
well, yeah, but under the covers.
Oh, right. What,
But-
full naked?
Yeah, but
I
under
can't
co-
sleep full naked.
Can you not?
No.
Oh.
I feel quite, I don't know.
Yeah, it was
Makes me
very,
feel
it was very
dirty.
warm in the room, I have
Was
to
it?
say.
Yeah.
And we got upgraded to the sea view, but didn't have any hot water in the shower. Is that a sackable offence? Should I have
Yeah.
asked for money off?
Definitely.
Do you
100%.
think? Yeah, there was no hot
Yes.
water. I had to like a shaking little deer just stand in the shower like.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. In December.
Yeah, I know. We did think
With naked?
Yeah, the two of us were like, is That's quite bad, isn't
Nips
it?
just fell off. Yeah, but I imagine you and Neil are just like, you
Very
two are
conflict
not
averse.
go. Yeah, I went for lunch to one of my favourite restaurants. I'm not going to say where it is just because I don't want to do anyone dirty. But I went to one of my favourite restaurants. I took some friends from London to my favourite restaurant in Stoke, and it just wasn't great. Like the starter was incredible.
Yeah.
The main, it was like the meat had been microwaved.
Oh.
So I ate none of
fuck
it.
me.
I ate none of it. And then when she came and took it, she was like, was that all right? I went, no, not really. It was like, what's the deal with the meat? She was like, I don't know what you mean. I was like, well, is it microwave? Because that ham looks like bacon. Like, it's rank.
Yeah.
And I couldn't eat any of it. And the beef was like it had been taken out of a pre-sliced.
Hannah,
I was like, no. All the sides, delicious. And this is somewhere that is usually stunning.
Yeah.
But
What a
it
shame.
wasn't good. And I'm going back there for my birthday.
Did she say, like,
They
I'm
did
really
nothing.
sorry? They
She
did
went,
nothing?
I'll tell the chef. And I thought, just like, if they'd have said, we'll take that off the bill, I would have been like, stunning.
Yeah.
Because I didn't eat any of it. Like, everybody had part of my, and I didn't. And if that happens, I think you should take the money. I think you should take it off the bill.
Yeah, I agree.
Because, like, people are spending hard-earned money. Not me, but I don't work hard for any of mine. But people spend hard-earned money at restaurants like that for, like, a nice time.
Yeah.
And if you're fucking pulling out
Yeah.
pre-cooked meat,
No, it's vile.
it's rank.
Yeah, I agree with
Rank.
you. I asked for a well done egg, like fried egg.
Oh,
I
you're
wanted.
weird.
Well, no, it's just the breakfast there was bad, and then
Was
the dinner there was
it?
bad. I was like, is it just that maybe Great Yarmouth isn't a foodie spot?
Yeah, I'd say so,
But you
yeah.
know when you're having a nice time and you're like, oh, we could do some emotional energy on complaining about the
Yeah,
shop. But I was like,
yeah,
you know
yeah.
what? They upgraded us to the room at the top of the hotel. It looked out over the sea. Fine.
Why did they upgrade you?
Well, because they put us in a tiny little room and it was at the back of the hotel. And I was like, is there a sea view? And he went, well, there's a woman who stays every week, but she's seen the sea enough. So you can
that's
go
very
in
ominous.
place of her, you can go to the top of the hotel. I was like, this is weird.
Maybe it's the way you said it, but it sounded really. She's
who's
seen
the
the sea
woman?
enough. Like we're going to murder her. He actually could have been like, well, you know, yeah, she's here all the
Yeah,
time,
she's
but
here all the
she's,
time.
she
I know.
can go to the back.
I think it's quite sweet to do that. Maybe in your old age when you're just like, you don't really want to be alone, go to a
I
hotel.
hope it's better than that one though. if
Yeah, I
do
know.
that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So how was the breakfast bad? What
Breakfast
happened with
was-
this egg?
Well,
What's
I
the
just-
stitch with the egg?
It was a fried egg, and I was like, "Oh, can I have it like well done, so it's like crisped, around the edge?" It was like you fucking rubber,
Oh no.
yeah, rubber tire.
Can't eat that.
Absolutely grim.
Well, we've all had a lovely week.
Yeah, I do like complaining about food. What was I going to say? Would you like to pick a Christmas
yes, please.
tarot?
I thought you'd never ask.
Yeah, this is our Christmas Speshy. It's going to get very Victorian, isn't it?
Oh, so Victorian.
So Victorian. We're going to go.
I'm going to cover my ankles.
Oh yeah, you better. Otherwise, I might get turned on.
All right, Denise Welsh, piss off.
Yeah. Go on. I'm ready with my book. Oh my God, what is it? Did it feel hot under your...
Oh!
What is it? Girl.
It's the world.
Oh my God.
Girl, it's the world.
Oh, she's got the world.
Feed the world.
She's got the
Let
whole
them know
world.
it's Christmas time. And I feel like I'm enjoying Christmas more in my old age.
Yeah, yeah.
Yep.
Yep. Where's the... Oh my God. Okay. The world card may be giving you permission to do whatever you want.
I thought you just humped the air. Whatever you
want. Fuck it. Presently, your motivation is close to the will of the divine. Even if you commit
that
an
mean?
error, it will be turned to the greater good. Stay active, keep moving forward. It's unnecessary to keep checking or interrupting your spontaneity with calculation. Rather than look for consensus or affirmation from others, simply dance the dance.
Oh my
Go on,
God.
dance the dance.
Oh yeah.
In other words, express yourself and react naturally and let the chips fall where they may.
Can I ask your opinion about a joke?
Yeah, go on.
I
Stunning, that is.
think it's a bit disgusting, so I'm not sure. People the other night loved it, but
Yeah.
I don't know. I said that because I've gotten older. As I've gotten older, I feel like my labia lips have dropped.
Yeah.
And I watched it happen. And it's like when you go to put a lasagna in the oven and then it just falls off the tray.
That is vile.
Is that disgusting?
Yeah, but in that kind of
Can it-
grotesque humour.
Can it work? Because I don't want everyone to go, ah.
They will, but that's also
But
funny.
I want them to go,
Yeah.
Not like,
Yeah, yeah,
not like,
yeah.
well, how am I ever going to eat my beef baguette again?
Yeah.
Okay,
Is that
good.
what you say to Adam?
Sorry,
Eat my
Mom.
beef baguette. No, we are making it a bit disgusting
God.
today, aren't we?
It's Christmas.
Christmas, for fuck's sake. Right, we'll do presents at the end.
Yes, please. Have you got a story?
Yeah, I was gonna. Yeah, shall I just get
Shall
in?
we do a Christmas cracker before?
No, we'll wait for Tim. So I've got this is an author called E.F Benson.
Lovely.
Who's an Olde Worlde man.
Definitely dead.
He was born in 1867.
Fucking hell.
Can you imagine?
Didn't even think they had pens.
And he died in 1940. So this man be old and dead.
That's quite old, isn't
And he wrote some really great stories.
Love that.
And I'm going to tell you one.
Yes, please.
And it's called In the Tube.
Oh, fallopian or...
Fallopian.
Fallopian or underground.
Fallopian
We'll
underground.
find out.
And it's I just want Hans just like really bed in. Like get... What happened there?
Why did you say it in such a like aggressively sexual manner? Bed in.
Bed in. I don't.
That's not
I feel like
nice.
this light is too bright. What do you think?
Feels the same as normal.
Does it?
To me it does, yeah, but then
I don't know.
it's not in
I
my
like it.
face.
Okay. Are you ready for story number 1
Yes, please.
from Christmas?
Sound like
special?
salad fingers.
Let's get into it.
Let's go.
It's a convention, said Anthony Carling cheerfully, and not a very convincing one. Time indeed. There's no such thing as time, really. It has no actual existence. Time is nothing more than an infinitesimal...
Fucking hell, keep it light, it's Christmas.
Nothing more than an infinitesimal point in eternity, just as space is in an infinitesimal point in infinity.
It's going well.
I'm pissed off the archers.
Oh, shall we have another one?
Go on then. At the most, time.
glass, please. Little shot. I've got to go and see a shit band later. So
A band.
Yeah, band.
Why?
A fucking tribute band.
Oh,
Me First
with
and the
who
Gimme
and
Gimmes,
why?
apparently.
Can you pass it?
Have you heard of that before?
No.
Me First and the Gimme Gimmes. Neither have I.
Oh, I
They
like
do
your, I
like-
like your water bottle. She's
thank
actually
you.
bringing it round to me.
Cute. Well, I
Cute.
can't reach. I'm not fucking Mr. Tickle, am I?
Yeah. Okay, let's get into it because this is probably going to take 7
Yeah,
hours.
come on then, let's go.
At the most, time is a sort of tunnel through which we are accustomed to believe that we are travelling. That is absolutely vile.
I thought you said it was all right now.
It's vile. There's a roar in our ears and a darkness in our eyes which makes it seem real to us. But before we came into the tunnel, we existed forever in an infinite sunlight. And after we have got through it all, we shall exist in an infinite sunlight again.
Just pissed off arches.
Yeah. So why should we bother ourselves about the confusion and noise and darkness which only encompass us for a moment? For a firm-rooted believer in such immeasurable ideas as these, which he punctuated with a brisk application of the poker to brave the sparkle and glow of the fire.
What's happening, please?
Just keep with it. Anthony has a very pleasant appreciation of the measurable and the finite, and nobody with whom I have acquaintance has so keen a zest for life and its enjoyments as he. Just imagine you're by a fire, all right?
Yeah, no, I'm not enjoying it. I'm just
Wondering what's
confused.
happening.
Yeah,
You'll understand.
yeah.
He had given us this evening an admirable dinner, had passed round a port, /archers, beyond praise, and had illuminated the jolly hours with the light of his infectious optimism.
Nice tea and a drink. That's what's happening.
Now the small company had melted away. Let's just see. It's long, yeah. And I was left with him over the fire in his study. Outside, the tattoo of wind-driven sleet was audible on the window panes. Overscoring now and again the flap of the flames on the open hearth, and the thought of the chilly blasts and the snow-covered pavement in Brompton Square, across which, to skidding taxicabs, the last of his other guests had scurried, and it made my position, resident here till tomorrow morning, the more delicately delightful. Above all, there was this stimulating and suggestive companion who, whether he talked of the great abstractions which were so intensely real and practical to him, or of the very remarkable experiences which he had encountered among these conventions of time and space, and was equally fascinating to the listener. "I adore life," he said. "I find it the most entrancing plaything. It's a delightful game, and, as you know very well, the only conceivable way to play a game is to treat it extremely seriously.
He sounds like a twat.
Yeah. If you say to yourself, it's only a game, you cease to take the slightest interest in it. You have to know that it's only a game and behave as if it was the one object of existence. I should like it to go on for many years yet, but all the time one has to be living on the true plane as well, which is eternity and infinity.
So everyone's supposed to be having a nice time playing Monopoly. It's Christmas, and this guy's just like,
He's pontificating.
could die any day.
Well,
Is that what he's saying?
I think so. If you come to think of it, the one thing which the human mind cannot grasp is the finite, not the infinite, the temporary, not the external. That sounds rather paradoxical, said I. Yeah, to be fair, it starts quite strangely. Only because you've made a habit of thinking about things that seem bounded and limited. Look at it in the face for a minute. Try to imagine finite time and space and find you can't. Go back 1,000,000 years and multiply that million of years by another million, and you find that you can't conceive of a beginning. What happened... Okay, let's say he goes on about time and space. Yeah?
Right, yeah.
Sometimes, when Anthony talks in this manner, I seem to get a glimpse of that which to his mind is so transparently clear. At other times, I feel as though he was pushing me over a precipice and my intellectual faculties grasped wildly at anything tangible or comprehensible. I interrupted. But there is a before and after, I said. A few hours ago, you gave us an admirable dinner. And after that, we played bridge. And now you're going to explain things a little more clearly to me, and after that, I shall go to bed. He laughed.
Fun.
You shall do exactly as you like, he said, and you shan't be a slave to time, either tonight or tomorrow morning. We won't even mention an hour for breakfast, but you shall have it in eternity whenever you awake. And as I see it is not midnight yet, we'll slip the bonds of time and talk quite infinitely. It's like the Mad Hatter, isn't it? Or like what's that one in Alice in Wonderland? He speaks in riddles.
Yeah, mad cunt.
Yeah.
I believe that's what Lewis Carroll called him in the book version. Mad cunt.
Mad cunt. Alice sees mad cunt. Wow. Did everyone hear my stomach rumbling?
That was amazing. That's staying in. Are you hungry?
Well, I just had a big sandwich and now
Maybe it's your bowels.
Yeah, it's my bowels.
Your bowels are moving.
My bowels.
Just so all these people who stream this episode know, Susie is about to go and have a banging shit.
Really nice, Hannah. I think let's raise the I don't know what the word is because I'm drunk.
I think I'm drunk.
Yeah, it's hit me.
Yeah.
It's
Do you have another?
No, it's vile, please. You slowly get pissed.
Shall we have one more?
You have another while I do this.
Okay.
I will stop the clock if that will assist you in getting rid of your illusion, and then I'll tell you a story, which to my mind shows how unreal so-called realities are. Or at any rate, how fallacious our senses as judges of what is real and what is not.
Fellatio.
Fallacious.
Fellatio.
Oh my God, she's so fallacious.
What does that mean?
False.
Oh.
Yeah.
I thought it was going to be something
But it's Olde Worlde. Remember, this bloke was born in 1867.
I still don't understand why they have to talk like bell pieces.
Hannah, it was a different time.
Yeah, no, I am enjoying it. Carry on.
Something occult, something spookish, I asked. Pricking up my ears, for Anthony has the strangest clairvoyances and visions of things unseen by the normal eye. Vile. I suppose you might call some of it occult, he said, though there's a certain amount of rather grim reality mixed up in it. Oh, go on. Excellent mixture, said I. He threw a fresh log on the fire. It's a longish story, he said. You may stop me as soon as you've had enough, but there will come a point for which I claim your consideration. You, who cling to your before and after, has it ever occurred to you how difficult it is to say when an incident takes place? Say that a man commits some crime of violence. Can we not, with a good deal of truth, say that he really commits that crime when he definitely plans and determines on it, dwelling on it with gusto? The actual commission of it, I think we can reasonably argue, is the mere material sequel of his resolve. He is guilty of it when he makes that determination. When, therefore, in the term of...
What is happening?
So he's basically, for the listener,
I
think is happening here is this man has put on a spread for his friends at Christmas. He's put a log on the fire, and he's saying, time doesn't exist.
Just enjoy yourselves while
There's
you're
no
here.
before and after.
Yeah.
And he's got a spooky story to prove how time isn't real.
Oh, right. And they're like, come on then.
And this guy's like, come on, mate.
Come on then, or give
There's
me a
a before and
blowjob.
after. Sorry?
Fellatio.
Okay.
Tell me a story or give me a blowy.
Oh, yeah.
They still had penises in 1860.
Your mind is
Who
in the
came up
gutter.
with the idea of a blowjob? It is the most horrific thing.
I think it's the oldest invention in humankind.
Yeah, it's got to be on it.
It's got like men finding a way to play. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
classic.
He leant back in his chair, concentrating his mind, and then spoke. The story that I'm about to tell you, he said, had its beginning a month ago, when you were away in Switzerland. It reached its conclusion, so I imagine, last night. I do not, at any rate, expect to experience any more of it. Well, a month ago, I was returning late on a very wet night from dining out. There was not a taxi to be had, and I hurried through the pouring rain to the tube station at Piccadilly Circus, and thought myself very lucky to catch the last train in this direction. The carriage into which I stepped was quite empty, except for one other passenger, who sat next to the door immediately opposite to me. I'd never, to my knowledge, seen him before, but I found my attention vividly fixed on him, as if he somehow concerned me.
Is this his story now?
Yeah. He was a man of middle age, in dress clothes, and his face wore an expression of intense thought, and as if his mind was pondering some very significant matter, and his hand, which was resting on his knee, clenched and unclenched itself. Suddenly, he looked up and stared at me in the face, and I saw there suspicion and fear, as if I'd surprised him in some secret deed.
Sorry, I just remembered about your tummy. It really made me laugh.
I need a mince pie, don't I? I'm going to eat a mince pie once I finish this.
Yeah.
At that moment, we stopped at Dover Street. FYI, Dover Street is a disused station now, but back in the day...
Somebody was telling me about Dover Street the other day.
I think it was
That's
me.
so weird. No. It was someone who works for TFL.
Really?
Yeah.
Because me and you want to do a ghost hunt there.
Yeah, well, I did ask about this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's you can go on like mysterious, spooky TFL like tours
Yes,
deep
please.
underground, and Dover Street is an old
Well,
one.
they did actually tell us we weren't allowed to do that.
Yeah, which
I
is
think
a
we should
shame.
just go anyway.
I think we should go. Just book onto it.
Just go on.
Okay. Anyway, at that moment, we stopped at Dover Street, and the conductor threw open the doors, announced the station, and added, "Change here for Hyde Park Corner and Gloucester Road."
Very good.
That was all right for me, since it meant that the train would stop at Brompton Road, which was my destination. It was all right, apparently, too, for my companion, for he certainly did not get out. And after a moment's stop, during which no one else got on, we went on. I saw him, I must insist, after the doors were closed and the train had started, but when I looked again, as we rattled on, I saw that there was no one there. I was quite alone in the carriage. Hannah's got a text.
Oh, I keep getting added to these sex bot things. Sex bot groups where they're like, I want to show you my titties. My titties are so hot. You know what I mean?
This is Denise Welsh, is it?
No, we keep having these things where the sex bots keep adding us to groups.
Like WhatsApp groups?
No, but on Instagram.
Oh, you're getting it. Oh, God, do you have alerts on Instagram? Fucking hell.
Yeah, I need to turn that off.
Okay. Now, you may think that I had one of those swift, momentary dreams, which flash in and out of the mind in the space of a second, but I didn't believe it was so, and I felt I'd experienced some sort of premonition or clairvoyant vision.
You sound so pissed.
Yeah.
I thought experience.
Experience. A man, the semblance of whom, astral body or whatever you may choose to call it, I had just seen, and it would sometimes sit in that seat opposite me, pondering and planning. But why, I asked? Why should it have been the astral body of a living man which you thought you had seen? Why not the ghost of a dead one? Because of my own sensations. The sight of the spirit of someone dead, which has occurred to me 2 or 3 times in my life, has always been accompanied by a physical shrinking and fear, and by the sensation of cold and loneliness. I believed, at any rate, that I had seen a phantom of the living, and that impression was confirmed, I might say proved, the next day. For I met the man himself. And the next night, as you shall hear, I met the phantom again. We'll take them in order. I was lunching the next day with my neighbour, Mrs. Stanley. There was a small party, and when I arrived, we waited for the final guest. He entered while I was talking to a friend, and at my elbow I heard Mrs. Stanley's voice. "Let me introduce you to Sir Henry Pale," she said. I turned, and I saw, vis-a-vis...
Oh, welcome to Bordeaux.
Vis-a-vis. I turned and saw Mrs. I don't know why he's put vis-a-vis.
Mr. Henry Pale. Vis-a-vis.
Vis-a-vis. I turned and saw, he's put here, I turned and saw my vis-a-vis of the night before. But
What? That's Benson's fucked up there.
Yeah, I don't know.
I bet he's turning in his goddamn grave. I mean,
like
us pair of
these
dickheads
two.
with bollocks on our heads.
I'm like, do you like it
Being
here?
like, is he talking about blowjobs?
I turned and saw the man from the night before. It was unmistakably him. And as we shook hands, he looked at me and I thought he looked at me with vague and a puzzled recognition. "Have we met before, Mr. Carling?" he said. I seemed to recollect. For the moment, I forgot the strange manner of his disappearance from the carriage and thought that it had been the man himself who I'd seen last night. "Surely, and not so long ago," I said, "for we sat opposite each other in the last tube train from Piccadilly Circus last night." He looked at me, frowning and puzzled, and he shook his head. "No, that can hardly be. I only came up from the country this morning."
Oh.
Now, this interested me profoundly, for the astral body, we are told, abides in some half-conscious region of the mind or spirit and has recollections of what has happened to it, which it can convey only very vaguely and dimly to the conscious mind. All lunchtime, I could see his eyes again and again directed to me with the same puzzled and perplexed air, and as I was taking my departure, he came up to me. "I shall recollect some day," he said, "where we met before, and I hope we may meet again. Was it not? No, it's gone from me," he added. The log that Anthony had thrown on the fire was burning bravely now, and its high, flickering flame lit up his face. "Now, I don't know whether you believe in coincidences as chance things," he said, "but if you do, get rid of that notion. Or if you can't at once, call it a coincidence that very night I again caught the last train on the tube going westwards. This time, so far from my being a solitary passenger, there was a considerable crowd waiting at Dover Street where I entered. And just as the noise of the approaching train began to reverberate in the tunnel, I caught sight of Sir Henry Pale, standing near the opening from which the train would presently emerge, apart from the rest of the crowd. And I thought to myself, how odd it was that I should have seen the phantom of him at this very hour, last night, and the man himself now. And I began walking towards him with the idea of saying, well, it's in the tube that we meet again tonight. And then a terrible and awful thing happened. Just as the train emerged from the tunnel, he jumped down onto the line in front of it, and the train swept along over him up the platform. For a moment, I was stricken with horror at the sight, and I remember covering my eyes against the dreadful tragedy. But then I perceived that though it had taken place in full sight of those who were waiting, no one seemed to have seen it except myself. The driver, looking out from his window, hadn't applied brakes. There was no jolt from the advancing train, no scream, no cry, and the rest of the passengers began boarding the train with perfect nonchalance. I must have staggered, for I felt sick and faint with what I had seen.
Do you think nonchalant sounds like cheese?
I thought you were going to say nonce.
And nonce.
And cheese nonce.
Maybe it's because it also sounds a bit like nachos. Nacho cheese.
Nonchalance.
Nonchalance. Nacho cheese.
Nacho.
Nacho cheese.
What is nacho cheese?
Nacho cheese.
You okay? Yeah. Do you want to give it a spin on the music box?
Nonchalance vis-a-vis. Nacho cheese.
Also, that's so terrifying because you're fucking spinning it the wrong way, you mad cunt.
We are like...
I can't work in these conditions.
It's very drunk aunt vibes, isn't it?
Fuck me.
From
also,
me.
there's an owl on that drum, and I saw an owl yesterday.
Not one of this. Not one picture on this is Christmassy.
Yes, it is.
It's got an owl, a mouse,
an owl on
a
a
bell.
fucking drum.
It hasn't got a... Oh, yeah, it has. So how much would you get on this Fortnum and Mason hamper? Because I haven't been able to stop thinking about it, to be honest.
Are you jealous? I've got a
Yeah,
full-
really? Yeah, obviously.
I get.
What'd you get in it? Hams?
No, you get. I got a bottle of wine last year, not this year. Thanks for that. No, I'm very grateful for my Fortnum. It's like you get like chutneys,
A music box.
music box.
What are you going to put your chutney on there?
Biscuits, coffee. Yeah, really good. Very, very
Not that jealous
tasty.
anymore.
You didn't comment on the fact that I saw a barn owl yesterday.
Did you tell me?
No, I just told you now.
What? When?
Just when I said there's an owl on the fucking drum.
Gaslit.
No, well,
Hang
luckily
on.
for you and me and the listeners,
I see barn
that's
owls
fucking-
all the time.
When do you see barn owls?
I have one living in my roof.
No, you don't.
I do.
Are you
and
serious?
there's a little hole in the roof.
You see a barn owl all the
No,
time?
I don't think we have it anymore, but definitely used to. Mum,
Really?
confirm. Yeah, we used to have an owl.
What was
Not
it?
like as a pet, but I'm sure we used to have an owl.
Did
living
you
in
see
the
it a
roof.
lot?
What's a lot, really? What's time?
I'm carrying on. I stink of archers.
Do you want some more?
No.
Another.
Right,
One for the
we have to
road.
carry on.
I need to turn this off. It's stressing me
You're
out.
making it go more. Put it under your chair or something. Right. Anyway, so he's stricken with horror, remember? Fucking Christ.
Still hear it.
Anyway, I must have staggered for you really fucked it here. I must have staggered, for I felt sick and faint with what I had seen, and some kindly soul put his arm round me and supported me into the train. He was a doctor, he told me, and asked if I was in pain. I told him what I'd seen, and he assured me that no such accident had taken place. It was clear then to my own mind that I had seen the second act, so to speak. This is... Tim, can you fire her, please?
How's it still
she's holding a bottle of Archers and ruining my Victorian Christmas story.
No, I'm really enjoying it, please.
Are you?
Yeah. Oh, well, I've got a similar vibe, and I'm going to be too pissed to get through it.
What has happened in this story? You're not going to be able to tell me.
He's been on a train and he's seen someone get killed.
Yeah.
Thank you.
The guy that he saw sat opposite him the night before.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Everyone else does. Right. You just have a nice time and just I tell you what, sit back and just listen to the story.
Yeah.
Just really take it in, yeah?
Come on.
It was clear to my own mind that I had seen the second act, so to speak, in this psychical drama, and I pondered next morning over the problem as to what I should do. Already, I had glanced at the morning paper, which, as I knew would be the case, contained no mention of what I'd seen. The thing had certainly not happened, but I knew in myself that it would happen. The flimsy veil of time had been withdrawn from my eyes, and I had seen into what you would call the future. In terms of time, of course, it was the future, but from my point of view, the thing was just as much in the past as it was in the future. It existed, and waited only for its material fulfillment. The more I thought about it, the more I saw that I could do nothing. I interrupted. "You did nothing," I exclaimed. "Surely you might have taken some step in order to try and avert the tragedy." "What step?" he said. "Was I to go to Sir Henry and tell him that I'd seen him in the tube and in the act of committing suicide? Look at it like this. Either what I had seen was pure illusion, pure imagination, in which case it had no existence or significance at all, or it was actual and real, and essentially it had happened. Or take it, though not very logically, somewhere between the two. Say that the idea of suicide, for some cause of which I knew nothing, had occurred to him, or would occur. Should I not, if that was the case, be doing a very dangerous thing by making such a suggestion to him? Might not the fact of my telling him what I had seen put the idea into his mind? Or if it was already there, confirm it and strengthen it? It's a ticklish matter to play with souls, as Browning says. Yes, but it seems so inhuman not to interfere in any way, not to make any attempt. What interference, he asked. What attempt? The human instinct in me still seemed to cry aloud at the thought of doing nothing to avert the tragedy, but it seemed to be beating itself against something austere and inexorable. And cudgel my brain as I would.
What?
I could not combat the sense of what he had said. I had no answer for him, and he went on.
Cudgel my brain?
Yeah, cudgel my fucking brain, bitch.
What's that mean?
You heard.
Scramble.
It's something sexy. You must recollect too, he said, that I believed then and believe now that the thing had happened. The cause of it, whatever it was, had begun to work, and the effect in this material sphere was inevitable. That is what I alluded to when, at the beginning of my story, I asked you to consider how difficult it was to say when an action took place. You still hold that this particular action, the suicide of Sir Henry, had not yet taken place because he had not yet thrown himself under the advancing train. To me, that seems a materialistic view. I hold that in all but the endorsement of it, so to speak, it had taken place. I fancy that Sir Henry, for instance, now free from the material dusks, knows that himself. Exactly as he spoke, there swept through the warm-lit room a current of ice-cold,
Jesus.
ruffling my hair as it passed me and making the wood flames on the hearth dwindle and flare. I looked round to see if the door at my back had opened, but nothing stirred there, and over the closed windows the curtains were fully drawn. As it reached Anthony, he sat up quickly in his chair and directed his glance this way and that about the room. "Did you feel that?" he asked. "Yes. A sudden draught," I said. "Ice cold. Anything else? Any other sensations?" I paused before I answered, for at the moment there occurred to me Anthony's differentiation of the effects produced on the beholder by a phantasm of the living and the apparition of the dead. It was the latter which accurately described my sensations now, a certain physical shrinking, a fear, a feeling of desolation. But I'd seen nothing. "I feel quite creepy," I said. As I spoke, I drew my chair closer to the fire, and sent a swift and, I confess, a somewhat apprehensive scrutiny round the walls of the brightly lit room. I noticed at the same time that Anthony was peering across to the chimney piece, on which, just below a sconce holding the 2 electric lights, stood the clock, which at the beginning of our talk had stopped. The hands, I noticed, pointed to 25 minutes to 1. "But you saw nothing?" he asked. "Nothing whatever. Why should I? What was there to see, or did you—" "I don't think so," he said. Somehow this answer got on my nerves, for the queer feeling which had accompanied that cold current of air had not left me. If anything, it had become more acute. I stink of alcohol.
Is that what is?
No, I stink of it. I'm breathing into this mic. It's hitting back at me, and I smell of a.
I can smell it on you as well.
Absolute tramp. I need a smint.
Do you want another shot?
No. "But surely you know whether you saw anything or not," I said. "One can't always be certain."
Smint? Why that's so specific?
Because I bought some, and I've probably got some. Actually, do you want one?
Yes, please.
Yeah, I'll give you some in a sec. One can't always be certain. I say that I don't think I saw anything, but I'm not sure either whether the story I'm telling you was quite concluded last night. I think there may be a further incident. If you prefer it, I'll leave the rest of it, as far as I know, unfinished till tomorrow morning, and you can go to bed." "Why should I do that?" Again, he looked round on the bright walls. "Well, I think something entered the room just now, and it may develop. If you don't like the notion, you'd better go. Of course, there's nothing to be alarmed at. Whatever it is, it can't hurt us. But it is close to the hour when on 2 successive nights I saw what I've already told you. And at this exact hour, an apparition usually occurs. Why that is so, I can't say, but certainly it looks as if a spirit that is earthbound is still subject to certain conventions. The conventions of time, for instance. I think that personally, I shall see something before long. But most likely you won't. You're not such a sufferer as I am from these delusions. I was frightened, and I knew it, but I was intensely interested, and some perverse pride wriggled within me at his last words. Why? So I asked myself, shouldn't I see whatever was to be seen? "I don't want to go in the least," I said. "I want to hear the rest of your story." "Fine. Where was I then?" "Yes, you were wondering why I didn't do something after I saw the train move up to the platform. And I said there was nothing to be done. If you think it over, I fancy you'll agree with me. A couple of days passed, and on the 3rd morning I saw in the paper that there had come fulfilment to my vision. Sir Henry Pale, who had been waiting on the platform of Dover Street Station for the last train to South Kensington, had thrown himself in front of it as it came into the station. The train had pulled up in a couple of yards, but a wheel had passed over his chest, crushing it in and instantly killing him.
No.
An inquest was held, and there emerged at it one of those dark stories which, on occasions like these, sometimes falls like a midnight shadow across a life that the world perhaps had thought prosperous. He had long been on bad terms with his wife, from whom he had lived apart, and it appeared that not long before this he had fallen desperately in love with another woman.
Oh, shagger.
The night before his suicide, he had appeared very late at his wife's house and had a long and angry scene with her in which he entreated her to divorce him, threatening otherwise to make her life a hell to her. She refused, and in an ungovernable fit of passion, he attempted to strangle her.
Oh, my God.
There was a struggle, and the noise of it caused her manservant to come up, who succeeded in overmastering him. Lady Pale threatened to proceed against him for assault, which with the intention to murder her. With this hanging over his head, the next night, as I've already told you, he committed suicide. He glanced at the clock again, and I saw that the hands now pointed at 10 minutes to 1. The fire was beginning to burn low, and the room was growing strangely cold. "That's not quite all," said Anthony, looking round. "Are you sure you wouldn't prefer to hear it tomorrow?" "No, tell me the rest of it at once," I said. Before speaking, he peered suddenly at some point behind my chair, shading his eyes. I followed his glance and knew what he meant by saying that sometimes one could not be sure whether one saw something or not. But was that an outlined shadow that intervened between me and the wall? It was difficult to focus. I didn't know whether it was near the wall or near my chair. It seemed to clear away anyhow as I looked more closely at it. "You see nothing?" said Anthony. "No, I don't think so," said I. "And you?" "I think I do." "All this happened some weeks ago," he said. when you were out in Switzerland, and since then up until last night, I saw nothing further. But all the time, I was expecting something further. I felt that, as far as I was concerned, it was not over yet. And last night, with the intention of assisting any communication to come through to me from beyond, I went to Dover Street Tube Station at a few minutes before 1 o'clock, the hour at which the assault and the suicide had taken place. The platform, when I arrived on it, was absolutely empty, or appeared to be so, but presently, just as I began to hear the roar of the approaching train, I saw there was a figure of a man standing some 20 yards from me, looking into the tunnel. He had not come down with me in the lift, and the moment before, he had not been there. He began moving towards me. And then I saw who it was, and I felt a stir of wind, icy cold, coming towards me as he approached. It was not the draft that heralds the approach of a train, for it came from the opposite direction. He came close to me, and I saw there was recognition in his eyes. He raised his face towards me, and I saw his lips move, but perhaps in the increasing noise from the tunnel, I heard nothing come from them. He put out his hand, as if entreating me to do something, and with a cowardice for which I cannot forgive myself, I shrank from him, for I knew, by the sign that I have told you, that this was one from the dead, and my flesh quaked before him, drowning for the moment all pity and all desire to help him, if that was possible. Certainly he had something which he wanted from me, but I recoiled from him, and by now the train was emerging from the tunnel, and the next moment, with a dreadful gesture of despair, he threw himself in front of it. "It is coming," he said. "I am to be given a chance for atoning for my cowardice. There is nothing to be afraid of. I must remember that myself." He got up quickly from his chair. As he spoke, there came from the panelling above the chimney piece one loud, shattering clink,
Oh, fuck.
and the cold wind circled about my head. I found myself shrinking back in my chair, with my hands held in front of me, as if instinctively I screened myself against something which I knew was there but I could not see. Every sense told me that there was a presence in the room other than mine and Antony's, and the horror of it was that I could not see it. Any vision, however terrible, would, I felt, be more tolerable than this clear and certain knowledge that close to me was an invisible thing. And yet, what horror might not be disclosed of the face of the dead and the crushed chest, but all I could see, as I shuddered in the cold wind, was the familiar walls of the room, and Antony standing in front of me, stiff and firm, making, as I knew, a call on his courage. His eyes were focused on something quite close to him, and some semblance of a smile quivered on his mouth. He spoke again. "Yes, I know you," he said, "and you want something of me. Tell me then, what is it?" There was a silence. But what was silence to my ears could not have been so to his, for once or twice he nodded, and once he said, "Yes, I will do it." And with the knowledge that, even as there was someone here whom I could not see, so there was speech going on which I could not hear, this terror of the dead and of the unknown rose in me with a sense of powerlessness to move that accompanies nightmare. I could not stir, I could not speak, I could only strain my ears for the inaudible and my eyes for the unseen, while the cold wind from the very valley of the shadow of death streamed over me. It was not that the presence of death itself was terrible, it was that from its tranquility and serene keeping there had been driven some unquiet soul, unable to rest in peace for whatever ultimate awakening rouses the countless generations of those who have passed away, driven, no less, from whatever activities are theirs back into the material world from which it should have been delivered. Never, until the gulf between the living and the dead was thus bridged, had it seemed so immense and so unnatural. It is possible that the dead may have communication with the living, and it was not that exactly that so terrified me, for such communication as we know it comes voluntarily from them. But here was something icy cold and crime-laden that was chased back from the peace that would not pacify it. And then, most horrible of all, there came a change in these unseen conditions. Antony was silent now, and from looking straight and fixedly in front of him, he began to glance sideways to where I sat, and back again. And with that, I felt that the unseen presence had turned its attention from him to me. And now, too, gradually and by awful degrees, I began to see. There came an outline of shadow across the chimney piece and the panels above it. It took shape. It fashioned itself into the outline of a man. Within the shape of the shadow, details began to form themselves. and I saw the wavering in the air like something concealed by haze, the semblance of a face. Stricken and tragic and burdened with such a weight of woe as no human face had ever worn. Next, the shoulders outlined themselves and a stain livid and red spread out below them, and suddenly the vision leapt into clearness. There he stood, the chest crushed in and drowned in the red stain, from which broken ribs like the bones of a wrecked ship protruded. The mournful, terrible eyes were fixed on me, and it was from them, so I knew that the bitter wind proceeded. Then, quick as the switching off of a lamp, the spectre vanished, and the bitter wind was still. And opposite to me stood Anthony in a quiet, bright-lit room. There was no sense of an unseen presence anymore. He and I were alone, with an interrupted conversation still dangling between us in the warm air. I came round to that as one comes round after an anaesthetic. It all swam into sight again, unreal at first and gradually assuming the texture of actuality. You were talking to somebody, not to me, I said. Who was it? What was it? A soul in hell, he said. Now it is hard ever to recall mere physical sensations when they've passed. If you have been cold and are warmed, it is difficult to remember what cold was like. A soul in hell, I said. What are you talking about? He moved about the room for a minute or so and then came and sat on the arm of my chair. I don't know what you saw, he said, or what you felt, but there has never in all my life happened to me anything more real than what these last few minutes have brought. I have talked to a soul in the hell of remorse, which is the only possible hell. He knew from what happened last night that he could perhaps establish communication through me with the world he had quitted, and he sought me and found me. I am charged with a mission to a woman I've never seen, a message from the contrite. You can guess who it is. He got up with sudden briskness. Let's verify it anyhow. He gave me the street and the number, and there's the telephone book. Would it be a coincidence merely if I found that at number 20 in Chasemore Street, South Kensington, there lived a lady pale? He turned over the leaves of the bulky volume. Yes, that's right, he said at the end.
Very nice. What happened then?
So I think what happened in the end is the ghost came back to him and he's whispered the address of his wife.
Right, and it's like, I'm going to go kill her.
I think so. I think he's gone, he's like...
Well, that's a bit unfair. She's already been cheated on.
Yeah, well, I don't know whether it's... Well, he said remorse, so it might be like go and apologise. He says sorry.
I don't want you back, actually.
Yeah.
I just go, fuck yourself.
Yeah, stay on
Real
that train.
or, and your vessel or your ghost to world.
That like
Yay, do that.